Hey, good evening, guys. Sorry for the late start. We have a little bit of technical difficulties going live here. Welcome to the LGBTQ Voice. My name is Traci Welch. I'll be one of the hosts this evening with
Eileen. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the LGBTQ Voice. I haven't been here in a while, so I thought I'd drop in tonight and host with Traci.
And technically, last week we had our March show. We wanted to make sure that was put in. We thought coming into the new year, having the two hosts on the one show, letting you guys know where we were that last year, the last few years for the network, what we're working on right now, and, where we see ourselves possibly in the future, and our favorite episodes.
That's right. So we have 2 episodes we're going to look at tonight. We have a lot of favorite episodes.
Yeah.
It was pretty hard to choose. You asked me last night, and I was like, I don't know, favorites. So what did you choose?
So the three of us, I know you guys don't see Kevin beside us, so our favorite were the Elders and the Youth show. Unfortunately, we had technical difficulties, so we can't show you that. If you guys get a chance, any of our past shows are actually on YouTube. Look up the LGBTQ Voice, and that was from the January 9th event, where we're going to show you passing the baton, why the seniors felt that they weren't ready yet to just tell the youth, listen, you're on your own kind of thing. Dealing with transgender issues, what the elders thought about that, and their coming out story. So I thought that was really kind of cool. That's what we were going to show you that tonight. But we're going to skip now to speaking with Dr. Stacy. Actually, Kevin, after I said that was one of your favorites, Kevin's like, yeah, that one too. So Eileen, on September 18th, 2018, spoke with Dr. Stacy. And again, you can find these on YouTube if you want to see the whole episode again. So Eileen's going to talk about that.
So I had the opportunity to meet Dr. Stacy, and we share a lot of the same philosophies and beliefs when it comes to engaging people in positive behavior. Before we start talking about that, though, I'd like to show a clip on her journey and how she got to where she is today. AJ, do you have the first clip?
That's a thing to say, isn't it?
Yes.
That's a thing to say. And it's an interesting, it's been an interesting journey as well, because I left AT&T recognizing, of course, that the company was at the time going through a lot of changes, and I knew that if I didn't leave when I did, it would be more difficult later on. And I really had a dream. I wanted to be a counselor. I wanted to help people, and that was so very important to me. So I had a fantastic opportunity to do that. My aunt back in Texas said, if you want to go to school full time, you can come live with me, and you don't have to work full time. You can just go to school. And so,
wow.
I know, right? And so, who wouldn't do that?
Absolutely.
And so, so I did. And I went back to Texas and went to St. Mary's University in San Antonio and got my master's in counseling and my doctorate in counselor education and supervision. And it was like the world was just sort of waiting for me. I began doing work in community centers for the LGBT community in San Antonio and Austin, and really began serving these many different populations. So I was doing work with transgender people, I was doing work with lesbian and gay couples, I was doing groups, and as I continued in my therapeutic process, I had the opportunity to be trained in a therapeutic modality called eye movement desensitization reprocessing, which, by the way, is a very effective model.
What is that? So a lot of people don't know what that is. What does that look like?
Well, what it is it's based in the notion that when we have traumatic things that happen to us in our lives, that those traumatic things don't necessarily just go away with adulthood. And so we think about, for instance, the experiences of children who are bullied, certainly people who are survivors of wars, of sexual abuse and physical violence, all those kinds of things. Those things become memory networks. And what happens then is that as the individual develops and perhaps even moves away from the event is still there. There's still that memory network. So there will be sometimes things that just cue a trauma memory. So what happens is, for instance, you'll have somebody who, for reasons they don't understand, they go into a place like the mall at Christmas, and suddenly it's just all the lights and the crowds and things like that, and it brings on it brings on symptoms of what's called panic disorder, you know, and so there's the palpitations and just the sweating and the nervousness and things like that. And that's really what's important to understand, is that that kind of stuff is rooted in these old memory networks. Well, with this method, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, EMDR, what we do is that we can actually reprocess some of those trauma memories. We can actually treat them by using a bilateral brain stimulation, where we're connecting what's going on in both the right and left hemisphere, and how the information's been processed. So the individual has this trauma memory and whatever beliefs go along with it. So anybody who's been, for instance, sexually abused has all kinds of memories that go along with that. And there's a lot of beliefs about the person's self. And so, you know, very typically, someone believes that she or he is dead.
So that was a little bit of a show we did with Dr. Stacy. She was talking about her journey and I believe some panic disorders. She also talked a little bit about a comment that someone made on Facebook during the live show, how doubt kills dreams, and making sure that we're really positive about ourselves and encourage ourselves and others to reach their full potential. So that should be the next clip that we view from Dr. Stacy. Says doubt kills more dreams than anything else I can think of.
What? I'm sorry, what?
Doubt.
Doubt, oh my gosh.
Doubt.
Yes, yes. And that's, I think, it's one of those things that's just so interesting to me, because doubt is one of those things that we just let become a really self-defining narrative. You know, doubt, once it gets instilled, it's very hard to remove it. Mm-hmm. And it's just, it's one of those things that I think it's almost like, you know how like a pearl is formed.
Yes.
And that's an interesting metaphor, so let's go with it. But it's like, you know, because it's actually a piece of sand that's forced into the shell, into this bivalve. And so actually, when we think about that, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Well, you know, when we can use that information though and say, okay, wait, I've got doubt, but where's that coming from? Is this something that's old, or is that really what's in the present situation? And I really like it when people can update their understanding of themselves based on their present circumstances, because so often we fail to see what's going on right in front of us. We fail to see that, in fact, where we are right now is really representative of a whole lot of things. There's a lot of strength. There's a lot of positive things that we create, and we don't often see what's right right in front of us.
We miss our true reality because we have that stuff from the past that's making us perceive our true reality as something else.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's exactly right, and that's what happens for people, and we just really block that. And so it's important that when we start seeing that, when somebody gives good feedback, gives good something to say, wow, you do this really well. You know, I don't know if you know about this, but you really just light the room up. You know, and we think, oh, well, I'm not really that, you know, or whatever. Or, you know, you're really skilled at this. You're really funny. You're really beautiful. You're really, you know, all these wonderful things that people say to other people, and when they're just really recognizing it. So many people want to deflect that because they've still got that old stuff that's, you know, 20, 30, 40 years old, however,
right.
it's that doubt.
The compliment can't be true.
So that was a clip on making sure we encourage people to fulfill their dreams or work towards fulfilling their dreams. Another thing that I spoke with Dr. Stacy about is making sure that if you have the opportunity to change someone's day, bring them into a more positive space, that you should take that opportunity. It doesn't take much. It's real simple gestures that make those things happen. So this last clip with Dr. Stacy is about her talking about how to brighten up someone's day.
Those things, we have to say hundreds of positive things for them to get over that. And that's true. We carry that into our adulthood. We carry that and carry that. But it starts as kids. Even those little negative things that we think aren't, you know, you're not good at doing the dishes. The dishes are a mess. They're dirty, and we wash those dishes because the kids did it wrong. those little things add up, and those little things keep us from believing we could be good at it and give it back.
That's right. Thanks, I'm not needing that exactly.
Yeah, no, not today, so.
There's something, though, that's true also about what we're able to transform, because we can also give amazing gifts of just by, when we start talking about bringing ourselves into the present and just entering spaces with joy. It's interesting because I know for myself that much of the time when I'm just mindful and I'm going in and I'm just being present and I'm just, and it's hard for me not to smile. I'm just smiling and I'm feeling good. And I smile at a lot of people. And people smile back. You know, people love that. People just get all up. They're like, "Oh, go get me some of that." You know, they want to be up in it because they love that kind of thing. That's just what people are yearning for. People love for somebody to be present for them and just to really brighten it. You know, it's interesting because I will frequently be in line at the grocery store and I see this busy cashier, you know, checking somebody out, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to have a positive impact here. And I don't ever doubt myself when I say that either, because I'm like, I know I'm going to have a positive impact. I'm going to walk up in here and have a positive impact. And I start just you know, doing this and start, you know, talking with a Texas accent, like, you know, and it's just, it's charming for people, I guess. But I don't know what it is. It's not that, and I'm not, all I'm really doing is just giving positive energy. That's just a thing that I'm doing. I'm just being myself. I'm being present and showing up for the experience with somebody. And it's amazing how they just brighten up, how people are looking for that. People need that kind of thing. They just need the, we're relational beings.
So those are clips from one of my favorite shows that we did with Dr. Stacy, and I'm sure she'll be back again. We could talk for hours and hours, so we'll do another episode with Dr. Stacy. Let's look at who's watching. So Rachel, hi Rachel. Karen, Melinda, Colleen, Marlon, Kate. Marlon, how come you're not here? Where are you? So that's who I can see is watching right now. Thank you for watching. And I'm going to turn it over to Traci.
Yeah, so guys, some of the things we've been working on this year is the community needs assessment. I know we talked about some of the things we've done, and I think Alicia Patrick had started a little bit of this. She's one of our youth from NB who graduated high school, college, all that good stuff. And Eileen has taken the reins on it and has done an assessment or an evaluation of all the assessments. It's been closed out. You can still do it, continue to do it, and each year we'll kind of see where we're at, maybe add some more questions and do some takeaways. And as we hopefully get some of these goals accomplished, we'll be able to you know, add some more to it. So at our network meeting last week, Eileen had all the statistics for us. So we want to kind of go over what the community thinks we need and some of the surprises that we got from it. So Eileen's going to take the rein on the next spot.
So one of the biggest surprises that I found was that people are not aware of the free STI and HIV testing available in the community. So we will definitely be doing another show on that and the resources available. So that was something that came out in the survey, that many people were not aware that that was available to them at no cost, which is kind of disturbing, but so it just shows that we need to do some more work in that area.
So while we're talking about that, Great New Bedford Health is a board member of our network.
Yes.
Seven Hills Behavioral Health is not, but they've been on our show before, and Health Imperative. So there's so many places that you guys can go and get HIV and STI testing. If you guys have any questions or comments, you can email Eileen at sclgbtqnetwork.org or Traci at sclgbtqnetwork.org. We'd be more than glad to give you guys the resources. And behind the scenes, Eileen is also working on a resource guide. So eventually we'll have a paper copy and it'll be an online copy. So there's a lot that she does behind the scenes. So what else you got?
I have resources and services that people would like in the community. 55% stated they wanted more entertainment and activities in the community. So, Traci, what have we done? What have we done in the last year?
Oh, God help us. So we just had the holiday social, second one.
Yep.
The year before one is when you were introduced as a male coordinator. This last one was December 27th at the Art Museum. A great venue. People can come out, not that it's totally recreational, but it's an event. It was an early evening. We've actually had a Spirit Day campaign, October 18th, against bullying. Just wear your purple, let people know what's going on. So how cool would it have been just to wear your purple and be able to talk about things like that? What about your Pride Cafe trip to B-Town?
Right.
That's an activity.
It was.
It was a huge activity. You want to talk about it?
Yeah, so we went to Carnival. It was extremely busy, extremely crowded, and we got to, that was my first time at Carnival, actually, and we...
Virgin no more.
That's right. So it will probably be my last time at Carnival. It was so crowded, but the people that got to go had a blast, and there was individuals from 18 to, I don't know, 70s and 80s, all on one bus together, just experiencing the parade and the activities that were going on. So it was a great time, and it was sponsored by the network. So I think it was $5 a person to go. You can't get a bus trip to Provincetown.
Mine's $25 a seat when I go, and I get 2 seats because I can sprawl out on the ride home.
You take a nap?
I do. I put my pillow in my blanket and I lay out on the ride home.
The bus ride up was really rowdy, and the bus ride home was really quiet.
Because that's because they were probably tired. And
they were.
Guys, I apologize. There's no heat in the building today, so Eileen and I are freezing. My
That's
bad.
okay, it's cold outside.
Yeah, and it's wicked cold outside. AJ, can you please put up the Pride Cafe banner on the sign? Since it was the network that did it, Pride Cafe is actually the baby of South Coast Equality, and South Coast Equality was a member of the network, but now we do like a board now. So Joni is on the board, and Pride Cafe is run on Mondays from 7 to 9 at 484 on Pleasant Street, downtown in New Bedford. And as it says, it's acceptance, it's a community, it's a gathering, it's a place of 18-plus group to get together. I know you do the Pride Cafe. You want to talk a little bit about what you guys have been doing down there?
Yeah, so Pride Cafe, we, it is 18 and up. It is a social evening from 7 to 9 on Mondays, unless it's a holiday. And we've been really playing games, have pizza. I mean, really, it's a lot of socialization. We've had a few new members come, so that was really nice to see. So join us, come down, hang out. There's no expectation. You can come, sit down, relax. You don't have to play games. You don't have to really engage or share. It's not really that type of setting. It's just to have a good time and hang out and be in a safe space. Yeah. So it's really a great time.
Yeah. So I know we're gonna, can you put out the other flyer for Pride Yoga? You want to talk about what's going on with Pride Yoga?
Pride Yoga is Wednesdays, 6:30 to 7:30. So it used to be earlier on Mondays, and it didn't work out. So a lot of people were working, unable to attend at 5. We moved it to 6:30 to 7:30. I don't know what the attendance was last week because I wasn't there, Kevin. It was good, yay.
All 6 people.
6?
Excellent. So there was 6 attendees, which is a lot more than was when we had it on Monday night. So I'm really happy to hear that. So come to yoga on Wednesdays at 6:30. There is no charge. It's all levels. And if you just want to lay on your mat, you're welcome to lay on your mat.
Just to get out of your house, do something, meet a couple people.
Right.
And for the survey, it says for the community, LGBTQ community would like to have an event from 5 to 8, Saturdays and Sundays, where times majority of the people were available to participate in activities, events, and support groups.
Right.
So that's a good time to do that.
One thing I wanted to bring up, and I'm trying to find it in my notes, was that the percentage of LGBTQ elders that felt safe going into
10%.
senior housing. 10%.
10% of individuals over 50
Yes.
felt comfortable moving into elder housing.
So that's pretty disappointing.
So 90% are scared.
Right. So that's another thing that we need to work on in the community as far as educating providers of service to the aging community, and also to the aging community themselves about their rights in being safe with, if they have to go into elderly housing or assisted living or nursing homes, that they feel safe to do so. We need to make sure that they're safe, and we need to make sure they know they have the right to be safe.
Well, last week's meeting, Andy Pollack brought up a good point. You know, if you go to some place and they're AAA certified, or, you know, you go in and they have a 5-star rating at a restaurant, the network wants to get involved in the community, saying, you know what, we feel this is safe, and these are reasons why, and we're giving you our network's approval. So that's something that, and hopefully the next year, that we can work in saying, okay, tell us about your folks' home, tell us about this group, tell us about that group, and we do the research, we'll help do the investigation, and make sure it's a safe place for our seniors or any events that we're doing. So if you want to be accredited with us and because we don't know what's safe, and that's why another reason why we do these assessments.
Absolutely.
Just because your doctor says, you know, I'm a doctor, is he gay friendly? You know,
Right.
we talked about Leo at the Bedford Guide going downtown, trying to get sponsors for us. He saw a rainbow flag at a business, and they're not really gay friendly. They just have the flag waving. It's a facade.
Right. I think too that as a community, we have to take ownership of supporting the elder community. You know, their experiences with being safe are not the same as ours. You know, if you think of how old they were when people had gay rights, they experienced 50 years, 40 years of having to stay in the closet for fear of safety, and getting out of that place of being unsafe is going to take a lot of work.
Yeah. And we talked about at one of our shows that when these folks, their partner passes away and they have to go into a group home, they de-gay themselves. They hide their husband or the wife's photos. They're afraid they're not going to get the meals, they're not going to get the medications, they're not going to get the bathing they need, and any medical assistance they feel that they're not going to get. So we're definitely going to be working on that this year and the years to come.
Definitely, and I think that, you know, we, the younger generations, younger than myself even, don't realize the experiences that the older generations have had.
That's why I wish, again, if you guys could see the January 9th show of our elders and youth, the coming out stories is at 41:44 to 50:50. It's about a 9-minute segment if you want to kind of look at that, and it's their coming out stories. And Connie had talked about, you know, wearing, you know, certain articles of clothing and things like that. Again, January 9th issue for that. You can kind of hear their stories about what it was like for them coming out at their age. And I know Tom didn't come out until he was 39, I believe, because he was teaching and all those things.
Right.
So, but I know one of your statistics, you want to talk about the pride statistics about having pride in New Bedford?
Well, one of the statements,
Yeah.
one of the statements on this survey, was, the question was about feeling safe in the community, and do you feel safe, and what types of activities would you feel safe attending? And one of the comments was shocking to me. There are certain places where I feel welcome, but not overall. I would never have a Pride Festival in New Bedford. It seems too risky. Now, we've had Pride how many years?
South Coast Equality had it since 2008.
Right.
And then we took it over for the last 3 years, and then I took it over the year before that.
Okay.
So we've had a Pride since 2008. So it's not like there hasn't been one.
Right.
But I think we talked about social media or outreach. We're not out there enough, which is a killer, but it is safe, or as safe as we can make it be.
Right, and to think that we are holding these Pride events and there's individuals that don't even feel safe coming to a Pride event in their own community is pretty telling. So again, it's something that we need to really work on and educate the community about safe spaces.
Well, we talked about also 68.5% feel safe in their community.
Yep.
72.5% feel safe in their workplaces. That's still over 30% that don't feel safe in the community, and 20, I don't know, add very well, guys, 30 and 30, let's leave it at that aren't safe in the workplace.
Right.
You know, and we've had the police chief on our show, and we could say New Bedford. I can't tell you, well, I can tell you about Fall River Police because we know some of them, and me working at Tedeschi's and the robberies I had, they're right on point for me. However, other towns and whatnot, I can't say if they're gay friendly or not. You know, we know that some of our officers have had training with the gay community and things like that, sensitivity training, but we don't know right now have they had transgender training, so we're going to be working on that as well. But any events we do have, we have the police at Pride, we have security guard when we had, you know, our after party at La Place. I've been to 2 active shooting training courses for the network. We try to make it as safe a place as we possibly can. Is the mall safe every day? We hope it is. So it's not just it's a gay event that we're hosting, but if you guys have ideas of how to make things safer, hit us up. If you guys have a show topic idea, hit us up. I'm here 3 and Eileen's here 1. You know, we've been more than glad to have you on the show. You know, if you feel why it's not safe to be in New Bedford, we'll put you on as a guest.
Absolutely.
That'll be a show for us. Why, not just New Bedford, Fall River, and other communities. So I guess now might be a good way to segue, since I talked about Fall River.
Fall River Pride.
Fall River, Eileen has been going to and supporting for the network, the Fall River Pride Committee, so.
Yes,
talk about
so
that.
actually I was there
Friday night.
Friday night, they had a meeting and they discussed their event they had, in December. It was a drag brunch. They also talked about 2 events they want to have before June to raise some more funds so that they can have a Pride event on June 2nd. We're not sure what the event is going to look like. I think it will probably be a family-friendly event outside somewhere, but those details have not been, they haven't been determined yet. It is going to be great to connect with Fall River Pride Committee as far as we're going to have Pride on June 1st. They're going to have a Pride event on June 2nd, so the South Coast will have a whole weekend of Pride, which will be the first time ever and pretty amazing. So I'm excited about that.
So one of the things, they were on our show last week, so if you didn't get the chance to see last week's show, Sean, one of the co-chairs for Fall River Pride Committee was on it. And afterwards, we kind of talked about the idea of having a co-party, so I don't know if that came up.
Yeah, we talked about that.
All right, so there's a lot, of behind-the-scenes stuff. We're trying to do a Friday night event where we actually have one Stonewall veteran already booked for the event, have a meet and greet. And what a way to kick off Pride, to start with the 5th anniversary of Stonewall and having a Stonewall veteran, being able to speak to you guys, ask questions, and just kind of know the history of what happened in New York, 50 years ago.
It would be great to hear the story from someone who was actually there, someone who experienced that event.
Yeah.
It's significant. Historical event in the history of the LGBTQ community, so it will be great to hear that. I hope that we find a venue soon.
Yeah, well, I actually just talked to them this week, and I told them within the next 2 weeks, because I don't want to say where we thought we were going to have it, but we're working on where we thought we were going to have it, and they haven't returned my phone call as of yet, so I'm hoping, today was too cold to go out and venture. I was going to go down there, but I'm like, it was just too cold for me. So some more statistics, what you got?
Let's see, what do I have? I have, so safety in the workplace, I want to talk about that. You said that was 72% of individuals feel safe in the workplace. So although not everyone feels safe in the workplace, that's a huge number.
Yeah.
I bet if we had this survey 10 years ago, that number would be a lot less. So I think we've made great progress in that, and I think there's a lot of employers who have committed to making safe workplaces.
Oh, yeah.
So that's pretty significant.
And you can see the HRC stickers on,
Yes.
like Rockland Trust, businesses and whatnot that are supported by,
Absolutely.
HRC, things like that. Sorry.
And see what else I have for statistics that I want to talk about.
Yeah.
We talked about what events, what's resources.
Well, 66.2% indicated that social media was the best place to be to give information. And guys, this needs assessment wasn't just New Bedford, wasn't just Fall River, it was the entire South Coast. It was on our website. It was on all the events that we went to this year. We had paper copies that people did, and Eileen had to take all the time and take all the information from paper copy and actually do it digital. I don't even want to call it that. But I just want to kind of tell you guys some of the stories that we've had this year while Eileen's looking up some notes.
Right.
We've done coming out stories, how to deal with holiday stress, civil rights. One of my favorite ones, I think, was Planned Parenthood. We had a couple of women friends of ours that were on the show. And you think today, a man and a woman have a baby, ooh, I'm a mommy and you're a daddy. But, what does that look like going further for the future? The second mom or the first mom, I don't know what we call it that, the one who had the baby, the other mom had to adopt the kids. What if something happened to the birth mom? So the other mom adopted the kids just in case, because you just never know what's going to happen in our future. We had straight kids with LGBTQ parents, and then we also did a show of parents with LGBTQ kids. The HIV and AIDS one was an amazing one, and with further statistics, we definitely have to do it again. Mm-hmm. Linda Spinner, amazing person, so shout out to Linda. I love your story, and I love you to death. We'll definitely have you come back on again. Out in your job, I thought was a good one. Violence against the LGBTQ community was another good one. The police chief came on, mm-hmm. and I just feel supported by our local police, and the fire department was actually at our health fair. Yes. They actually did a table at our health fair that we had. Thank you to Alicia Patrick for setting up that this past year. We've done so much. We've spoken at Nativity Prep. Me, you, and then me and Kevin.
Yes.
You guys spoke at New Bedford Volk, you and Kevin.
Yes.
The health fair. We've done 2 National Coming Out Days event, one at Irish Latte Pub and one at La Place for the phone bank for Yes on 3. Pride Cafe trip to P-Town, we talked about Pride Yoga. I'll talk about our Pride event in a minute. And the Rainbow Club was something new this year. Want to talk about that for a minute?
So the Rainbow Club right now has not been active,
Yeah.
but I have been reaching out to the public schools, New Bedford area, to see if there are any youth 8 to 13 that want to come and socialize with their parents, and it would give their parents an opportunity to ask questions and get information about resources in the area for their children while the children socialize. And it was a pretty relaxed group. It's not, people hear group and they think of mental health and counseling sessions. That's not what this is about. That's not what we do, really. What we do is give people opportunity to socialize with people who share some commonalities.
Or to have questions.
Right.
And how cool would it to be to talk to another parent, hey, what's your kid going through? This is what mine's going through. And have that one-on-one. We can still be there or not be, we're still in the room,
Right.
but you're still in, not we, you are in the room. You know what I
Or
mean?
just say, can you give me information about this? I don't know what this is. My child is talking about this, or my child is talking about that. Or I'm fearful that this is going to happen to my child. Can you find some information for me? And being able to get the resources they need in a safe space.
Yeah. So today on Facebook, Eileen and I will answer private messages on Facebook to the network, to our youth group, because as you know, Eileen and I are also adult advisors for NB Agley, and today a 26-year-old wanted to know where she could go and if she could go to NB Agley, but our NB Agley is 24, so once you hit 25, there's no place for you, I don't say there's no place for you to go, but now it's Pride Cafe in the same hall.
Right.
So we told her to go to Pride Cafe on Mondays from 7 to 9. So you guys don't have to go to these meetings to get help. You can email Eileen, email myself, and just say, listen, we need resources, we need help, what can we do? My kid's transitioning. I know one of our last meetings for the network last month, the month prior to this one, we met the gentleman from Fall River that Fenway Health is actually having, instead of going to Fenway Health now, there's going to be a group in Fall River for help. So once we get that information out, we'll be able to share that with you too, and they'll help with housing and different resources and whatnot that people are going to need for the community. So I thought that was kind of good. I also wrote down that looking back, the reason why I call this Looking Back Moving Forward, our first event was Looking Back Moving Forward, a decade of marriage equality in 2014. So that's why I called that at the beginning of the header for this event for today. We also did the post vigil, the Puzzles 10-year commemoration in 2016, and we did Making It Happen, a spring fundraiser where we actually introduced our first network coordinator, Joe. So we've done a lot. The Winter Film Series is amazing. Last year, it was such a great turnout that we actually, I know last week they were on the show, that, and with Fall River Pride Committee, but the Winter Film Series this year is amazing. And if you guys can, like our Facebook pages. We have the LGBTQ Voice, which you're watching now, and we also have the South Coast LGBTQ Network. If you want to know more about our youth group, there's NB Agley, Allies of a Perfect Place. And if you're under the 24 group, there's NB Agley itself. And I actually do research to find out who you are and your age you are, and tell you, you support the kids from this page, or if you are a youth in that group, then we'll accept you. Because the kids like to talk to themselves and not have, the whole world knowing they're out. Because that could happen as well. What you got?
Absolutely. So the only other statistic I wanted to talk about was how safe people felt getting support from the police, fire and rescue, and EMT services.
Yep.
So basically, 55% felt safe getting support from EMT, 59% fire and rescue, 49% the police. So it's pretty interesting that it's a pretty close range.
Well, and again, that's the whole South Coast.
That
it's not just the river or New Bedford.
Right, this is anyone who chose to answer the survey. They could have answered it at an event or online.
Yeah.
So, I mean, let's see.
We have a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
We do.
There are some positive comments. I feel all of these people, if they are truly doing their jobs, they are there to help you and protect you. I trust the doctors, paramedics, police, and firefighters won't discriminate against anyone. So there are positive comments here. One is I'm new to the area, so I'm making presumptions.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
they're just getting to know.
So we're going to check out some more statistics. We're going to actually show you one of my favorites. From June 12th, 2018, LGBTQ marches and political movements. On this show, we had Belle Pellegrino, who passed away last month, Nicole Lopes, Joan Stratton, Viola Pina, and Liz DiCarlo. So the first one is just an introduction of the people and a little bit of speaking from Belle. So we're gonna hit that up, AJ. We're going to be talking about marches and political movement in and around our area. So we have Belle Pellegrino. Belle is one of the original 76ers of Providence Pride, as well as the Emperor 16 and 24 of the Imperial Court of Rhode Island.
Yep.
We have Nicole Lopes, our local DJ extraordinaire from La Place, and DJ the first Pride in New Bedford. We're going to talk to her about her evolution with Prides and her community involvement. We have Joan Stratton as well, South Coast Equality, starting New Bedford Pride. And I don't know what else. A lot. Pride Cafe, a lot of things you guys have done. And we have a political movement talking about tonight, Viola Pina and Liz DiCarlo. So I want to thank you guys all for coming tonight. So we're going to kind of start it off with Belle. So Belle, Rhode Island Pride is this Saturday. And will you be at it?
Oh, absolutely.
Now, will you have a table for Rhode Island Pride or for the Imperial Court of Rhode Island?
We have for the last few years, we've been setting up a table for the RI 76ers.
Yeah.
Those of us that are still around and that come down to the festival, we usually bring photographs so that anyone who's wandering by can come in, say hello to us. It's kind of a gathering place for us because most of us can't get around quite as well anymore. But it's a way for us to teach the younger folks what it's about, why we did it, why we wanted it to happen, and they're our legacy, they're our kids, so we share with them.
Oh, that's terrific. So how many people marched at the first parade?
110.
110, and were the police present for that?
In order to get the first Pride Parade, we had to sue pretty much anybody and everybody, including the chief of police and the mayor and all kinds of stuff. And when the federal court put down that we were going to have the parade, the chief of police said, although the statement in the Providence Journal said, no faggots walking down my streets,
Yep.
he was the first face I saw standing there watching us. And there was an incident at the end of the parade where somebody tried to cut through and almost hit somebody. And he grabbed the guy and pulled him over right away and gave him what for, because he was going to make sure that if it was the law, then he was going to defend it. So we had plenty of police.
Started. So one of the things, and we're back. So the next thing I wanted to ask them is, what if Stonewall didn't happen? What if 50 years ago, people didn't stand up and say, you know what, we've had enough. So this is where we're at right now.
Pretty much fed up. Even in Rhode Island, it was kind of something that happened all across the country. The only time the guys and the girls could get together is because we had to for safety. And the lights would blink and you'd swap partners for who you were dancing with. A few years back, just before Pride in Rhode Island, we were in a bar talking, another old timer, myself, and the head of Pride, and the lights blinked, and the guy and I both flinched, and he was like, "What's that about?" And we told him the story, but when they flipped the lights, you had to swap partners.
That was a trigger.
Oh yeah, and we looked at each other and laughed because we didn't think that was still in us.
Yeah.
But being in the bar and that light flipped and we both just jumped. You can only take so much of that for so long. If it hadn't been Stonewall in '68, it would have been someplace else, and it would have been. It had to have happened. We were done.
I was doing some research, and then after the Stonewall riots, 2 gay activist organizations were formed in New York, and 3 established newspapers to talk about gay rights and promote, gayness, if you want to call it that. And they think that was also instrumental, having it start in some place, and then it's kind of spread and spread and spread, and slowly but surely across the U.S. and across the world, more happen. So from the prides from back then to the prides now, I mean, what do you think? I mean, is it better? What would you like to see? What would you like to take away?
I moved back to Rhode Island 1997, and very shortly afterwards I got a phone call asking if I was Belle Pellegrino from the original, and I said yeah, and I was invited to be.
You're like, who's asking?
Rodney P. Davis, he was the head of the Rhode Island Pride for many years, and I was like, who are you? he invited me to come down. We were at Indian Point Park. And I got down there very early in the morning, and still the mist in Providence. And there's a walkover bridge for pedestrians from where they were setting up. And I walked up there, and I just stood there. And I hadn't been to the Rhode Island Pride since about 85. And this was a good 12, 13 years later. And I stood there, and I bawled like a baby. I looked out at it and thought, that stage, we could fit everyone in that first Pride parade, including the people on the sidewalk on that stage. And I just looked at them putting everything together, and it just took my breath away at how much it's grown. A couple of years ago, we had the 40th anniversary, and I stood on the stage, and I brought a camera, and I said, it's a family reunion. And I pulled the camera out of my pocket, and I took a picture. I said, because you are our family. You are all our legacy. It's grown so much, and it's taken on all different meanings, but it still has the basics. It's about love. It's that simple.
Well, thanks. It's this table that we have here, it's a welcoming table, even if you disagree with me. All right, and we're back. You know, there's going to be a lot of history coming up with the 50th anniversary of Stonewall, but let's talk about marriage equality. You know, Liz DiCarlo and Bev Bocelli were very instrumental. Andy Pollux has been on our show, being part of the marriage equality movement before marriage equality passed in 2004. So here's a little bit of segment of, you know, Liz DiCarlo talking about marriage equality. Hit it, AJ. What we have here, it's a welcoming table. Even if you disagree with me, I can agree to disagree, but I want you to hear my side. I'm plain and simple. Yeah,
but I just have to say something.
Yeah.
You asked what some of the problems were that we had in reaching out to people. Well, 2 out of our 13 state legislators, both senators and, you know, representatives, only 2, Mark Montigny and Tony Cabral, were the 2 legislators who supported equal marriage from the beginning. And Tony, in particular, said to me once after a struggle, and he said, you know, they wanted me to vote this way because of strategic stuff. He said, no, this is wrong. We don't want half a loaf of bread. We want the whole loaf. We want civil rights for everybody. This isn't fair. He said, I can't vote in favor of any strategic move that's not going to move the people's fair civil rights forward. You know, he was so clear about it from the beginning. But we convinced the Marriage Equality Coalition, all of our allies, convinced our state legislators so that there was only 2, one from Wareham, one from Fall River, that didn't support equal marriage.
So if, it was one of my questions for you guys, if marriage equality hadn't passed, hadn't been decided in 2003, and the first marriage, May 17, 2004, when do you think it would have passed, or would it have? How many years do you think it would have taken to regain?
I really do think that it was a movement whose time had come. Even though the Freedom to Marry Coalition was kind of young, and my wife and I used to joke about how, you know, we're going to have Medicare before we have equal marriage. Well, we didn't. We got married in Canada in 2003, and then we get to North Carolina, part of our trip, honeymoon, and sure enough, all of our friends are calling us because of the Supreme Judicial Court decision. It was amazing, but it was a time, you know, Canada was the first place. Well, first it was Toronto, then it was Ontario, then it was British Columbia, then it was all of Canada within like 2 or 3 months. It was wild. And that's really what happened on this continent.
So one of the things is, do you think that the states would have succeeded if Mass had not?
No. I think if we couldn't do it in Massachusetts, it was going to be tough. Pretty much any place else. I mean, even California had a hard time when they were trying to.
Yeah, they started Prop 8. Yeah, they started, they stopped, they started, they stopped.
But an important issue is to vote.
Right.
Yes.
You got it.
You've got to make sure everyone registers to vote.
And vote.
That's what counts, yes, and to vote.
Yep.
Not just register, but to vote.
So we talked about, on some of our other shows, the shootings that happened down in Florida and the kids, you know, they're all stepping up. Well, register to vote and vote.
That's right.
I don't care how you vote, but
Yes.
figure out why you're voting and vote how you,
Yep.
you know, how you, the right or wrong, how to right
It's
and wrong.
very inspiring.
Register and
Yeah.
educate yourself.
Yeah, it's
And
good.
know what you're doing
Yeah.
when you vote.
So-
Because look what we have now
Yeah.
for people who didn't.
We're back. So again, those are two of our three favorite. The other one that we all wanted was the elders and youth, maybe another day. We'll be able to kind of slip that into one of our shows when we're running, you know, short on memory of what we can talk about. But before I go to Eileen, I just want to let you guys know that we've actually put up an event for our Pride for June 1st. So you guys can find it on Facebook. We already know that we have Jeff, I'm going to go backwards, the Wellness Walk with Dr. Osha's group at 9 o'clock. It's a 1.9 wellness walk around the park. So healthy, people want to do recreational, you want to kind of hang out, you can get up a little bit earlier. And then we have our yoga in the park with Jeff Costa, which is amazing. And then our Pride events from 11 to 4. And we got Vinny the Bubble Guy is already booked for this year. It was amazing to see the bubbles all through, especially the rainbow and the sunshine. And Jacqueline Demera, again, will be our hostess this year, so she confirmed this week as well. So again, find that event on Facebook. And again, if you guys want to sponsor the show, AJ just put it up for us. 50% of the proceeds go to all the things that we've said that we're done, that we're doing. And like I said, you know, we don't pocket the money. We have a network coordinator position that we pay. It's money well worth. It's the groups, the organizations that we provide for, and we actually have gay AA, we didn't talk about, which is sober and out on Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. at the center. So Eileen's going to talk about some current events and some things that are going on right now.
Okay, so I have one more statistic I want to talk about.
Cool.
So we asked a question about self-care and stress management. So I just want to give the results of that. 48% said they use exercise for self-care, which is why we have incorporated that into Pride.
Yep.
We
Well,
also,
wait, we did that before that came out.
We did.
Okay.
We did, but we will continue
Yeah.
doing it.
Oh, wait, should I tell you what I want to do this year?
What do you want to do?
I want to do Twister with everybody.
Good luck, I'll watch.
Yeah, I'm going to watch too. I'm going to spin the wheel.
Okay, you do that. 28% say they use art, 38% use arts and crafts, 30% meditation. The challenging part is, let's see, 23.6% use substances as a way to manage stress. So that's something, that's a pretty high number.
Yep.
That's something that we need to look at. So that's all my statistics for today.
Well, and again, if we can incorporate what people said they wanted, those evening hours from 5 to 8, when somebody gets out of work at 5, if we can get them to an event, or we can keep people active, or we can keep them social, or we can keep them motivated, then maybe the substance abuse part will go down.
Right.
Maybe the arts and crafts will go up, the exercise will go up, and the meditation and things like that.
And yeah, with more social events, they may reduce their substance use.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else do I have? January 27th, free movie and discussion.
Movie.
Free, come, you'll see me there, come hang out with me, watch a movie, talk about the movie. It's 1 to 4, January 27th at the New Bedford Whaling Museum. I just want to say, go Patriots, of course.
I think the movie is what?
Moonlight,
Moonlight. And
go Patriots.
yeah, but besides that is, how often do you go to a movie and go, well, that movie sucked, and what's going on? There's nobody to talk to about it. After each movie series that we've done and continue to do, there's actually a talk and discussion about it.
There is.
You know, people ask questions, and whoever the moderator is will actually answer the questions and help each other out and maybe give guidance to the movie.
And now we're gonna have snacks. We usually have snacks.
Oh, yes, we do.
Free snacks.
Because fuck with
Free
snacks.
free movie, free
Yeah.
discussion. You get to talk to me. I'll be there. So
As
join
well
us.
as vendors.
Yes, there will be opportunities to get information from local community resources. So join us there. Let's
And you
see.
can sign up to help for events. We'll have paper copies
Oh,
of the community needs assessment.
No, community
No?
needs assessment is closed till next year.
All right.
It's closed till June 1st.
Right.
So we need volunteers in general, South Coast LGBTQ Network. Go on our website and there is a button you can click and sign up to volunteer for any of the events. You can volunteer as much or as little as you want, but join us in volunteering. I will have an orientation soon for that in February.
Yeah, we still have to meet.
No, I'm doing a general
Yeah.
orientation, and
Got
then after that, we'll have a Pride
You got
orientation.
it.
Also, check out the website. There will be a new website launched next week, I hope, maybe this week. And on that website, you'll see the Winter Film Series. You'll also see a new volunteer spotlight that will happen monthly. I'm not going to tell you who the volunteer is, volunteer of the month. So check out the new website and you'll find out. The last two things I want to talk about, good or bad first, Traci?
Bad, we'll end with good.
All right, bad. So today, the Supreme Court revived the Trump administration's policy of barring most transgender people from serving in the military. In a brief, unsigned order, the justices temporarily allowed the ban to go into effect while cases challenging it move forward. So, that's
Sucks.
it's not good. So, to be continued, we'll see what happens with that. And, on the good side, let's see. Today were the nominations for Best Picture, and more than half of the nominees involve LGBTQ themes in narratives, so that is pretty exciting.
Yep.
So that's the good news.
Yeah.
I think that's all I have.
Do you want to tell them a little bit what you've been working on?
Whew, let's see, what have I been working on? I'm getting ready for Pride. I am working with Fall River Pride Committee. I'm getting the website up and running. I'm getting our new database up and running.
The resource guide.
The resource guide. What else, Maureen? What am I doing?
Her wife is over there, guys.
What else have I been doing? Oh, entering contact, sending out thank you cards.
Yes.
For all the people who donated to Fall River Pride. Thank you so much. I don't know what else.
And Fall River Pride has their own page as well.
They do.
And Cape Cod Pride has its own page, because
Yes.
we actually gave them a shout out. Their tea dance was canceled last week, but on the network page and on the LGBTQ Voice page, I actually shared their upcoming events. So if you, our Cape friends, the South Coast that live close to the Cape, if you want to check that out, they have some events coming up as well.
Yes,
So
and I'll keep you posted on what's coming up with Fall River Pride Committee's events. And if you have ideas for shows or events, call me, 774-775-2656. That's the network number. I answer the phone. Give me a call. Send me an email. Let me know what you want to see on the show. Let me know what activities you'd like to see in the community. Let me know about activities that are coming up so I can share them with the community.
Definitely. Yeah. And again, if you guys want to sponsor the show, hit up leoutnewbedfordguide.com, and yeah, I think that's about it.
That's it.
All right, and we'll see you next week. Take care. Bye.